Hello and welcome back to the show. So I'm really excited to be sitting here with my guest today, Heather Shepard. So Heather is a real estate agent, a top producing real estate agent right here locally in our backyard of Houston, Texas, in our real estate market. And today's episode, Heather is going to be sharing with you guys some of the top strategies and tactics and her best advice for you as a real estate agent to produce more, to be more successful in your business, but also more specifically, how to leverage social media for your business as well. So if you guys haven't looked at Heather's social media profiles, I suggest you do because she has now close to 15,000 followers on Instagram and is generating business from her page as well. So Heather, thanks so much for taking some time and joining us on our show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and I can't wait to share some tips that have helped me really grow. So, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to kind of dig into your story, but before we dig into that, I would love for you to share a little bit about your background and really how did you get into real estate, how long you've been in real estate, and what led you to kind of where you are here today.
Okay, so I taught pre-K for about 5 years and I loved it. I loved helping kids and, meeting all the parents and everything. And it was so rewarding. And I just thought, okay, I have always loved to look at houses and, it just the thought of helping people find the home that is the perfect fit for them at that stage in their lives was just something really special. And I loved to talk to people and connect people. And so I got my real estate license about 12 years ago. And I just started to do it like part time while I was teaching because I didn't want to give up my teaching. And then I had three kids, and you know how three kids in a row, that got kind of wild. But real estate was something that I could always go back to. And, about 2.5 years ago, I started using Instagram for, lead generation. And I started by just posting like little videos like of me in my car, like holding the phone and talking about different neighborhoods. And I have grown my Instagram from 300 followers to almost 15,000. And, some of my tips for that, I really have just posted consistently. I try to post something, either a story or an actual post or reel, like every day, like whether it's real estate related or my kids. So instead of starting a brand new Instagram for my business, I just started using my old Instagram that I really wasn't that active on, that had like mostly my three kids and my dog. And then I just started posting real estate things, and there's mixed opinions on that, but overall I really felt like clients and friends, like, they want to really get to know you. Like, they don't want to just see like houses or beautiful kitchens and everything. Like, it really makes a big impact to people when they see like your family, like things you like to do, like whether it's like a workout class or like a fun restaurant or shopping somewhere, or things like that, like an Astros game. But people really want to work with somebody who they feel like they have something in common with and can connect with them, like whether it's kids the same age or, that's the kind of, and so it's actually been fantastic that I mix in my business and my family. And I think it's just overall, like, I love Houston. I'm from Houston. And so I'm very like passionate about, new restaurants, new, museum exhibits, new things going on in the city. And I always like to put like little tips, like helpful, things for moms, or, like, look at this kitchen. Like, it has like these extra snack drawers, because as a mom, like, I can relate like to other moms who might be thinking, oh, my house is too small. Like, I might want to start looking for a new house. Oh, that's a great idea. That, that house might be for me. Or, just like little like tips and little things that I would find helpful. And I've found that other moms and other friends, whether you have kids or not, they really they like that kind of stuff. And so it's just been kind of like trial and error. Like I don't have like the perfect way to post, or but my best advice would be just to start posting and just be consistent and really engage with the other followers and the other people on Instagram. Like, don't just post and then, not like respond to comments. Cause when people are commenting, like they're interested and they're like, oh, I like your post. Like, and I've made a lot of really special connections and met people all over the United States. Like, through my Instagram. And it's been, other realtors, and we've referred business to each other. And so I always say, like, Instagram is free. Like, you can advertise as much as possible on there. And I think it's such a fantastic way to build your business and really showcase like your brand. Which, because I think a lot of people, even if they see you like in the grocery store or somewhere, they're like, oh, like we have mutual friends. Oh, like I've seen you on Instagram. Like maybe I'll use her to sell my house, And I also think another tip is make sure your profile is very clear, like of who you serve, your name. Like mine is Heather Shepard, and then Houston Realtor, like at the very top. And so I think that's really important, because if you aren't clear with your name what you do, like I think people might just kind of look over your profile. Maybe I love houses, maybe, like I go to open houses, but I think it's important to be super clear that you're a realtor. You could even put like, I serve the Houston area, I serve like the surrounding Houston areas. And so I think that's another little tip. Make sure your profile. Oh, and I also like to put my email up there too. And so I think that's important, and a clear picture of your face. So don't put like your dog or like, like a mountain or something like, and because people want to see you on your Instagram. And at first, whenever I started recording my videos and my reels, I was like, oh God, I don't want to be in them. Like, nobody wants to see me, like, give this tour. But then I found people really do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like they really just, that consistency is what will really build your brand and build your following. And that's been really what I have done. I'm trying to think another tip for realtors. So this is another thing that's helped me grow my following, is I'll do giveaways where I'll partner with other like businesses in Houston, and I'll have like my friend who owns a hair salon, and then another friend of mine with a small business with jewelry, and I'll say like, enter this giveaway, follow me, follow the other businesses, and you could win like a gift card and a candle from, like different things like that. And it really helps you engage and target like the local community. And people love to, follow small businesses and like shop locally. And so it's been a good way to like connect people and to gain followers, because they have to follow you to win. And and so that's been really another like little tip. And I'll do like a few a year, like maybe like a Valentine's one and around the holidays. And it's actually really fun because you get to interact with other people. And then I always say like, tag a friend or two, and to be able, like guidelines to enter to win. And then you get their followers looking at your profile. And so it just like totally compounds. And you can gain more followers that way too. And it doesn't have to be like anything big for your giveaway. Like, my friend who owns the hair salon will give like a blowout, or like a free makeup tutorial, like things like little things like that, but it's still really fun and it's an easy way to, and it's free, like an easy way to connect with people. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing if you do it through Instagram and your posts and everything. I mean, the amount of people they can reach is unlimited. So,
Yeah, exactly. So that's some really great tips actually on leveraging Instagram because, there's so many people out there, so many agents who are thinking, what is the best way for me to get leads? What is the best way for me to generate business? They want to be participating in their community and they have a hard time figuring out how to get involved, right? And you've been able to do that. You've been able to do a great job of leveraging the Instagram platform in order to not just make posts and advertise and market yourself, but also generate a community vibe around your followers, the people that you're collaborating with, local businesses, and I think that's really important. So, a question I have for you is what made you specifically choose the Instagram platform? Why should agents be focusing on Instagram and not other platforms like Facebook or LinkedIn or even TikTok that are, I'm sure a lot of agents have questions on which one of these should I focus my time on?
okay, so I chose Instagram because, first of all, I had an account already. And I just, it just felt right. Honestly, I think if you just choose one platform, like it doesn't matter what it is, but if you were consistent with it and I feel like that's the main thing. And I also, another reason I chose Instagram was because my friends and like the group, kind of like the where I live and the people that my clients basically, they're all very active on Instagram. So I had an account and then, I started getting traction with my posts and with everything and with the community that I was, trying to break into and start serving. And so that was kind of my logic behind it. And what I found is also, um, so I'm older than you. TikTok is has you can have a huge following on there, but it's a younger, just what I've found, like it's a younger platform, I guess. And so it's not really like I would post things and the same things I would post on Instagram and they wouldn't do as well. And then I thought, okay, I think, the families and the moms and everything, like they're posting more on Instagram than TikTok. And also like business owners and doctors, lawyers, like, a lot of professionals, like I have found, and I might be wrong, but just from my community, use Instagram more than TikTok. And then another little tip for Facebook is you can have your Instagram automatically whenever you post, you can have it go to Facebook. So then you don't have to double post. Like, and my Facebook, I don't use Facebook, but it's like my presence is there through my Instagram. And so, and then LinkedIn, I have a LinkedIn and I post like consistently on there, but I don't get as many views as I do on Instagram. And so it's interesting. I don't know if it's because it's more like different types of businesses do well on LinkedIn. I mean, I've gotten actually two clients from LinkedIn, but we had mutual friends and I tried to connect with like high school friends, college friends, on LinkedIn. And it's I think it's whatever you feel like passionate about and whatever, like, kind of what your target group is, where you want to gain more clients. I think focus on wherever they're the most active. So I wish I had like a great answer for that, but that's just kind of like the logic behind it that I thought, and it's worked. So
That I think is a great answer, actually.
thank you.
So, the fact that you identified that the target market that you were trying to, have as your clients, they're the most active on Instagram as a platform. So, I think that's a very important point for agents when they're thinking of participating or generating leads on social media is what is your target market and where are they most active in, right? So you realize that it was Instagram and you actually found that it was the most you're getting the most impressions using the
Mhm.
same type of posts as well when you're experimenting on different platforms too. So I think that's very it's very insightful, and I think that's a great piece of advice that a lot of real estate agents who maybe want to leverage social media should that's the first thing they should do is find out where their target market is most active in.
Exactly. I think that's definitely very important. So for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So now, as far as growing your following, right? You mentioned one of the things that you did in the beginning was you didn't go ahead and create your own business account. You used the account that you already had on
Yeah.
Instagram when it actually, and then started posting more business information. Now, this is something that I personally do as well. I didn't go out there and create like a separate business account. Is there any specific reasons that you did this? Was it just because you already had a following, or do you feel like there are other reasons why you shouldn't go out there and try to separate your business account versus maybe like your personal account
Right.
for Instagram?
Well, it goes back to like, I really think people like to connect and on like a personal level too. Like I think people, like really they'll look at your profile and if it's just business, like they really can't, they don't feel like they know you. Like my clients either like, and I'm so grateful for this. We were either like friends before or like new clients, like we become friends like through the process. And I think a lot the clients I've gotten from Instagram, they'll see like, oh, like you have kids, like, oh, you like to do this, like you watch your kids play baseball, you watch them play basketball, and we can relate on a level other than real estate, which is like a deeper, connection. And buying and selling homes, like we all know that's very emotional, like whether your kids have gone to college and you're downsizing or you're moving to a different neighborhood or there's so many reasons why like people sell their houses. And what I find is a lot of them, it's like they either are downsizing or they had another baby and they need a bigger house, or their husband got a new job in a different, like area, like from downtown, or the wife, is in graduate school. Like there's all these different reasons. And your home is such a special place that I have clients that, I mean, it's tragic sometimes when they're like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be, it's exciting, but it's also like, this is where I've raised my kids. Like this is where, and so I think to be able to connect on that like personal level, so they know that I actually care and it's not just like a business transaction. Like I care and I know how they feel, and we can relate on a level other than like, here's your contract, like this, like that kind of thing. It's not just about that. I mean, we all know in real estate, like it's about so much more than that. So I think that's what's helped with my Instagram being business and personal. That has helped gain more clients. And also they come to me and they feel like they know me. Like, because I post on there and they're like, oh, I know you like to do this and I like to do that too. Or we were in the same, like, moms group or volunteering or working together. And so I think that's also like I put volunteer stuff on my Instagram. I put like all sorts of pictures of different things, like service projects I've done with my kids. And, it's such, I cannot even tell you, like, it's such a great way to get your brand and your name out there. And I think what I find, because I've helped some friends like with their Instagrams, and they're always like, oh, I just don't know what to post. Like, I'm nervous. Like, I don't, like, are people going to judge me? Or, and I always tell them, I'm like, who cares? Like, if they judge you, like, at least they're talking about you, then like that's getting your name out even more. Like, I think you have to just be confident in what you are doing and know that like this is my brand, this is my business. Like, if somebody's talking about me or doesn't like my post, like they don't have to look at it. And so that is something that I've really like reiterated with friends who have asked me for advice. Cause I mean, I don't think anybody like loves being on camera and I mean, I don't mind it now, but it's just at first when you're getting started, like it's normal to feel nervous about it. So I think just start posting, even if it's in your car, in your house, like just start recording things and give as much advice for free as you can. Like, I think that is so important because the more you help people and advise people and like don't expect anything in return, like the more people are going to look up to you as like an authority. They're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. Like, she highlighted this neighborhood. Like, oh, that public school is amazing. Or like, oh, that has a private school, close by. And they'll come to you because you are the expert. And I think just things like that, just post and post and post. Like, I'll do tips for, selling your home, things you should like get back in December. I was like, if you're cleaning up Christmas decorations and thinking about selling your home, like, here are a few things you can do now to prepare for the spring. Or, here's some tips for like, should you redo your kitchen before you list your house or not? Just as much advice as you can give everybody, and it will come back and help you so much. Because people really, a lot of the time, like, we know what we're talking about, but a lot of home buyers and sellers feel very lost. They're like, I need to move, I don't know what to do. Do I plant flowers? Do I like, all these things? Like, do I paint? Like, do I? So I always offer to give like any type of advice. I'm like, send me a picture. Like, I'll let you give you my opinion. Like, what's your budget? Like, what is important to you? Like, what would you do now that you think would be beneficial in a year if you were going to sell your house? Like, and sometimes I'm like, maybe you should renovate your kitchen and live with it for a year or two so you can enjoy it. And you get a huge return on investment for, an updated kitchen and bathrooms. And so if you're thinking about selling in a few years, maybe do it now and you can enjoy it for a few years and then sell your house. So different like tips like that. And I know for every market it's kind of different, but just find that specific like niche that you want to focus on and post things that you think they would find valuable.
Exactly. That's the
Mhm.
best thing that you could do on any type of social media platform is give free advice and just give and give and give because that's what people are looking for, right? They're not looking for necessarily you to promote one thing or another. They're looking for how can this person help me, right? What value am I getting from this person's content, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that you've done a great job of. And I think that's one of the reasons, one of the leading reasons why you were able to grow your Instagram following basically in 2 years of 15,000 followers, which is extremely impressive, right? For anybody who is leveraging social media. So that's the other question, right? For a lot of real estate agents, they're very busy, right? They're going out there, they have to work with clients, they have to show homes, go on appointments, right? They have to manage the transactions and, have to make sure that everything is going correctly. And you've been able to do a really good job of staying very consistent with your posting and your content, right? You mentioned you post at least once a day. So, what is, I guess, your strategy? What is your method for making sure that every day you're staying consistent and you're posting, even with everything else that you have going on with your personal life, your business and also with, helping your clients as well?
So I try to post like first thing in the morning. It doesn't always happen, but that's something that I try to do just so I'm like, okay, check that off my list. And then throughout the day, like I'll do little stories, or if I go on a listing appointment, or if I go show a house, like I'll take a picture and then like put that on my story. So, stories they come down after 24 hours. It's the posts and the reels that stay like on your page. And so that's kind of my strategy. I'm like, okay, if I get up, do this. And I also have a lot of drafts saved in my draft folder. And if I have like an hour or two, on a weekend, or like different, times during the day, I'm like, okay, I can make a quick draft, like a trending audio, like a cool picture. And then I'll try to do like a good tagline, like a hook, like, and then I'll just save it. So if one day I'm super busy and I get up and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to post. Well, I have all these drafts that I can go in and like revise, or, just kind of just use them for my posts. And another thing that I've started using, which has been really kind of a cool, like helpful thing, but I'm not using it to like an extreme, but is Chat GPT. I don't know if you've started using like AI and different things, but it is incredible. Like I will type in like tips for first time home buyers, like 3 tips for first time home buyers for an Instagram reel. I mean, it generates like it'll come up with like, some reasons. And if you don't like it, you can say, more towards the luxury market, or more towards like ranches, like different things depending on what your focus market is. And it makes it easier for you, but I don't use it word for word. Like I will take that, and because I like to put my own like twist on it, like my own like brand and my advice. Um, and I know there's a way to kind of do that through Chat GPT, but I like things to be more personalized, I guess, for me. But that's another tip for agents. Like if you download the app, it's free, and you can really use that to help you even come up with ideas. Like one day I was like, come up with 3 ideas for Instagram reels for a luxury realtor in Houston. I mean, it'll come up with, and then if you don't like those, you say, I always say, please give me more. Like, and so, but it's a great way to, you can come up with topics and, a little paragraph about your topic in like very quickly. And then I always put my name at the bottom before I do hashtags. I put Heather Shepard, Houston Realtor, my email, and then my phone number, like on every single post and reel. And then I do hashtags because I want people to be able to get in touch with me easily. Like I feel like we are all so busy that if somebody has to be like, oh, let me look for her phone number, look for her email, they're not going to do it. They're going to reach out to somebody else who has it right there. So I think that's important too. Just make sure you have your information out there so people are able to reach you and get in touch with you quickly. Like if they don't want to, I always say send me a message. So you could also like they could DM you, but some people would prefer not to do that. What I found. So regardless, make it easy for people to get in touch with you.
Yeah. So that's actually really really good advice as well, because one of the things that you talk about when it comes to helping real estate agents with their social media is it's one thing to get a lot of followers and a lot of views, but you have to make sure that you're turning these views and these followers into clients and leads, right? And you've done that, right? You've been able to not just engage with them, but also make it really easy for them to reach out to you. So you have clear call to action, so that way if somebody is looking to buy or sell or maybe refer a lead to you, they know exactly how to reach out to you. and it's really easy for them to reach out to you.
Definitely, 100%. Because I would hate for you to be posting and doing all this work and then people can't get in touch with you. Because what worries me about the DMs is sometimes I'll have, there's other different folders like primary, like general, like
Mhm.
requests. And sometimes messages will, I don't know why, I wish I did, but will go into different folders. And so you don't want to miss a potential client or a referral, like you said, or something because their message got lost. So that's why I think it's always important to at least you don't have to put your phone number. I mean, I do just because most of my clientele, they like to text.
Mhm.
Some of them like to call, but most of them like to text. And so that's where I found like it's important for my phone number to be up there. And I was worried at first, but I really haven't had any like bad experiences. Like I've had people trying to sell me things and different, but other than that, it hasn't been like creepy or anything. Um,
Right. I
but
think as a real estate agent, right, our phone numbers are out there on the internet, right, as part of the realtor board. Sometimes, I think here in Texas, at least, we've just passed like a new law. They can't find like our phone numbers inside a TREC, which is our licensing board, anymore. But their phone numbers are out there, right? Our information is essentially public,
yeah.
being part of realtor board. So it's not something that I guess you can hide from. So people are always going to call you to sell you on things. Just might as well put it in front of your targeted audience too, so they can contact you for actual business.
Exactly. That's a good point. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be out there anyways. So make it easy for potential clients to find you. And so I think that's important. And there's when you're posting, another thing, I do believe in hashtags at the bottom of your post. Like some people say, like, oh, because the algorithm is always changing on Instagram, is what I've heard. And so, but I have always put hashtags, at least like five. And I'll do like my brand, like HS Homes Houston. I'll always like tag that. I'll tag zip codes, which I found is really helpful. Like if you're showing a house in a certain zip code and you're posting about it, like do hashtag like 77005 or whatever. Because a lot of people in those areas follow the zip codes. That's another little tip. And then, but make sure you're using hashtags that relate to the post because it'll actually hurt the engagement if you say like, you're posting about like a house that's, maybe about a house and you put hashtag like I don't know, beach or something, just because it has a lot of followers, unless it's a beach house. But I think just because sometimes when you type in the hashtag, you can see how many like
Mhm.
followers it has. Don't be fooled by that. I mean, of course, try to post with the hashtag, the most followers for your hashtag, but don't mix in things just because you're like, oh, this has a lot of followers. Like make sure it relates to your post. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I've
yes,
heard
it
that
does.
that will actually like hurt your engagement because Instagram sees that and they're like, oh, they're not being honest about their hashtag matching their post. And so who knows if that's true? I'm always trying to look for new tips and new ways to like boost engagement and everything. So that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't, right? So I think, a lot of times with social media, the algorithm isn't posted out there, right? There's not, it's not like
No.
something you could find on the internet, right? It's just people talking and testing and seeing what works. But even if, let's just say that wasn't true for whatever reason, but I think it is, right? I think the algorithm is smart enough to recognize that
Mhm.
it's still not good for your content because people are, maybe they're searching for, beach, right? Hashtag beach, and they're finding something that's completely unrelated. So they're going to scroll right past it. They're not going to look at it. And even if they do look at it, that's not your intended audience, right? That's somebody who's maybe looking for like a beach trip or
Right.
so
Booking
it
vacation.
doesn't serve the purpose at the end of the day.
a good point too. Yes, for sure. No, definitely. But I really encourage everybody to really just start posting, and then starts to be fun. Like I'm, always like trying to find new ways and new ideas and different, like taglines and different things just to change it up and grow more. So, and try to get more clients and even my clients who like past clients, they love watching home. I mean, who doesn't love to look at a beautiful home and look at, learn about different neighborhoods? And I try to kind of keep people updated with interest rates. Like I'll repost things from a friend of mine who we work together a lot. She's a lender. And definitely that's another thing you can do is go to somebody else's Instagram, like a mortgage lender or somebody that's giving like valuable information, and you can share their post onto your story. So it's like it's content that's already been made that you can just share, and it helps them too, and it helps advise your audience. So that's another thing. All of your content, you don't have to actually like make yourself. Like you can share other people's. And then I always like to tag them whenever I share them, share their posts and everything. So that's another easy, like if you don't have anything to post, like, maybe go to your local lender or, even like an inspector or something. I've shared like tips for different things you should make sure you look out for. Make sure your inspector is checking, or like hydrostatic plumbing testing. Like, what is that? A lot of people don't know what that is. And should they have it done on the house they're thinking about buying, once they're under contract? Like, I always recommend, for certain ages of homes, like doing the hydrostatic testing. But I've had clients that are like, what's that? Like, I don't need, like, should I spend $600 and have this done? And really, I mean, it's important in different circumstances. So I think advising people on things like that is really helpful too. It goes back to our whole, like, the more value you can provide to your audience, like the better. And it'll just benefit you in the end.
Exactly. Now, just kind of wrap things up a little bit here. I would love for you to get your take on. So, like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, there are different ways to post on Instagram, right? There's static posts, there's reels, and then there are stories. Out of the three, are they all very important? Is there a series of, kind of which ones are more important than the others, different purposes? What is kind of your take on this? I mean, obviously, you've kind of mastered Instagram, so you do, and people go on your page, they can find that you do all of them. But if you're starting out, which one of these three will you focus on? Is it all three, or is there kind of an order of importance?
I would say reels, because those will reach the most amount of people, because the views, like those people, they will pop up on people's feeds even if they don't follow you. So I would definitely say reels. Look for trending audio and just start posting. And then I always, after you post your reel, use the little arrow and put add to story. And so you can, then it'll be on your story. And I like do the little icon that says new post. And I put it like in the corner of my reel on my story. So everybody knows, if they're just clicking through the stories, they're like, oh, there's a new post. Like, I'm going to go check it out. So so that's kind of utilizing like reels and the stories. It's like you can put your reel onto the story, and then it's a great way to reach people. So, and then posts are good. There's all sorts of opinions on that, but I found that reels like reach the most people, and I think they really get the message out, whatever you're trying to share. So that's kind of my advice for that. But if you like, feel free to if anybody wants to message me with questions or anything, I'm happy to answer questions or give some advice.
Yep,
So definitely.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I like that too because Reels you can reach a new audience instead of just the existing audience that you have. So that is absolutely true, and you can, like you mentioned, double down your efforts, right? Post a reel and then share to your story. So now you have two ways of reaching your audience and potentially new audiences as well. Um,
Definitely. No, that's and that really and you can also if you record a video of like say you're, recording a house and I just use my iPhone, like my phone to do 99% of my recordings and just you can use different parts of that video. Like you can crop it and use like, the living room, the kitchen, the backyard and put like if there's a pool, like I recently did when we had the freeze, like tips for, things you should check if you have a pool after a freeze, different things. And you could just use those little clips with different advice and different, hooks. And so I think that is definitely, like you can use one video that you take for different posts. It doesn't have to be does that make sense? Like the video, you don't have to go tour like a house every single day to have content for like your week of posts. So, because people are
yeah.
like, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Like, but you probably have content on your phone right now that you can use.
Yep, exactly. So it's something that agents should do, and that they absolutely can do as well, like you have shown with your own Instagram page. So Heather, I just wanted to thank you again for being on the show today and spending a little bit of time with us. And you really shared a lot of valuable advice for agents looking to grow their following, but also really grow their business and generate more clients using Instagram as well. So for anybody out there who is watching or listening to this that maybe want to know a little bit more about what you're doing or maybe want to connect with you, what are some of the best ways for them to do that? How can they find your Instagram page?
Okay, my Instagram is at HS Homes Houston. And please follow me, send me a message. I'll follow you back. And I would love to connect. And yeah, I would love that. And if you have any questions, if you're like, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? Like, send me a message and I would love to help you because I know it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of scary at first. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But it's worth it. I can tell you that. And the more I've encouraged like other agents and other friends, like the more they're like, okay, like I got this. Like, and it really will pay off in the end. I promise you'll get more business. And it really verifies that you're the expert. Like you got, like, you are a realtor in Houston and this is what you do. And this is, who you are. So I think that's some, some little last minute advice.
Yeah, exactly. We'll make sure to leave the links to your Instagram in the description, the show notes down below. But guys, make sure to go follow Heather on her Instagram page if you guys want to learn a little bit more about what it is that she does and how to leverage your Instagram page to generate business as well. So Heather, just want to thank you again for being on the show today. Before we let you leave, do you have any just last pieces of advice, any last tips you would like to leave with the audience here?
um, Really just be consistent. I know I've said that before. Like, if you don't see like huge growth, I mean, it took me 2.5 years of like posting and posting and posting. Like, just choose a platform and stay consistent is my best advice. And I just started a YouTube channel, so I'll let you know how that goes. I've never used YouTube before, but I keep hearing another way to it's another platform if you are familiar with YouTube and would prefer to do that over like Instagram. Like that's another one you could try. But yeah, just be consistent, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. And I always like my own stuff right after I post. And sometimes I'll even like do a few emojis on it. And there's nothing wrong with that because it kind of starts the engagement.
Yeah,
So just
exactly.
don't give up. You can do it. It might take a little while, but just keep at it.
Awesome. That's some great advice, Heather. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next show. Take care.
So much.